Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just wanted to quickly go over some information I found very intriguing when it comes to connecting more dots with bigger entities, bigger name players out there, getting themselves connected in some form or fashion to Ripple or R3, and of course getting themselves obviously into a way to take advantage of XRP as a payment method. Of course, we'll get into that here in just a second. I wanted to just quickly give a shout out to Dallas here. He is someone else in the XRP community on Twitter who is usually looking up information regarding different types of connections, and of course some people can look at this and say it's overkill. I think it's actually very intriguing because a lot of people in the XRP community stumble across information I'm just not privy to every single day because there's so much of it coming out. So again, a shout out to Dallas for this right here. Is a simple link that anyone can really access online, but this is actually an article talking about PayPal and MasterCard. Their execs are getting encouraged to partner with different types of fintechs and banks, and this was actually mentioned at the Davos forum that took place recently. And of course, looking a little bit further into this article here. So here we have the article coming from businessinsider.com, again mentioning PayPal and MasterCard encouraging partnerships between fintechs and banks. And this is actually something that was mentioned pretty heavily at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And we can easily see again in this article, it was primarily focused on what looks to be the executives of PayPal and of course MasterCard. Something I found very interesting when it comes to this article and what they were mentioning here. The firms said that the tech companies looking to enter payment industry shouldn't hesitate to partner with big banks, emphasizing that their partnerships can promote trust and allow firms to create their new user experiences. Now, of course, this right here is very true when it comes to bigger banks that are possibly looking to get into the cryptocurrency blockchain side of things, for example, or even the distributed ledger technology side of things. And if that does happen with these bigger banks, then smaller banks are going to definitely be encouraged to actually onboard themselves as well, because that's how the connection is going to be maintained that way. Now, of course, the COO of PayPal, Bill Reddy, actually specifies a little bit in regards to this. He says, partnering with those banks is a huge opportunity to move much more quickly in a way that lifts the entire ecosystem versus saying it has to be a zero-sum game. On the topic of partnership, you can see that the MasterCard Vice Chairman Ann Carnes mentions that partnering is about creating something that's seamless and easy that people can trust. So it is very interesting that we're hearing from these two executives from these bigger entities, PayPal and MasterCard, and they're encouraging all of the other banking systems that are out there to look at onboarding themselves with fintech types of companies so that they can all be on the same page and do this very quickly. And also, once they're on board, this is a quick transaction process as well, because it is a new technology. It is something that is going to allow for faster transfers of payment. So as you can see, what we have here is this very large playing field of opportunity when it comes to, again, banks merging into the fintech world. Now, of course, something in the article I found very interesting when it comes to some of the examples of these companies such as PayPal. It says here that PayPal partnered with multiple banks and card networks to launch its Consumer Choice Initiative, a tokenized solution that allows customers to pick which credit card or debit card they want to use per transaction. PayPal CEO Dan Schulman has noted that the initiative has boosted customer acquisition and reduced overall churn, and that it has become close allies with its partners. Now, interesting enough that we're bringing up these big entities and banks and connecting that, because part of this article actually stood out to me, and I wanted to go over this with you because we actually have what looks to be a possibility of a big name company such as Amazon here to possibly be moving into the banking sector. As a matter of fact, according to this article, it says Amazon, for example, is rumored to be moving into banking, as it was reportedly in talks with Capital One and JP Morgan Chase to build a checking account-like product which customers are receptive to. 65% of Amazon Prime members said that they would actually be willing to try a free online banking account from Amazon, for instance. So thinking about this right here when it comes to a big name like Amazon going into the banking sector of things, and then you merge that with information like this right here. So we've definitely talked about this before here, Amazon Web Services being actually linked to the company R3. And if you're familiar with R3, you definitely understand that they are definitely connected to Ripple, the company. They designed together something called the Corda Settler, which is actually allows for different types of payments to be settled right now through XRP. But in the end, I believe there's going to be a multitude of different currency options available through the Corda Settler. So think about how big that could be when it comes comes to the digital asset XRP and the link here between Amazon going through R3. The idea that Amazon could potentially become some sort of banking entity on its own and allow for different customers to get themselves onboarded with different types of currencies and be exposed to something like XRP, that right there would be very, very big when it comes to the idea of mass adoption into digital assets, again, such as XRP. So I know it's a pretty big step when it comes to these links, but you can see Amazon possibly merging into the banking sector, already connected to R3, R3 connected to Ripple. You can see how this right here is just one big expansion on a global scale here. Whether it is absolutely directly related to Ripple, we just see that there are a multitude of connections that lead back to that kind of company there. So again, take this for what it's worth. It is something to look into a little bit further, and of course I would imagine once we start hearing more information about Amazon and what they're looking to do when it comes to, again, merging into the banking sector, I would imagine we're going to see a pretty big amount of publicity about this here. And of course, when you start hearing more about these types of connections being made, and especially when they're being talked about at those forums like the one that took place in Davos, Switzerland, then you know that this right here is the next phase that we should be looking into, because I think that just the technology side of banking is actually moving along. So again, take it for what it's worth there. One last thing I wanted to quickly point out here, guys. So I thought this was very interesting here, and I wanted you guys to take notice of this as well. If you go to any real search engine such as Google and you type in Ripple XRP news, you're really going to get an onslaught of information regarding some of the more recent circulating news articles that were posted about that. But it just so happens that the majority of the news articles happen to be about Ripple, and of course a company called Mazzari that was actually doing what they consider an investigation on the Ripple coin and how many are actually in circulation versus what has been speculated. And of course, they also stated that there's a possibility that the market cap of XRP should actually be lower. Now, of course, this was one group doing this right here, so my guess is that that one group has been incentivized to actually make these kind of claims here. It is basically FUD, and I'm going to encourage everyone to check out this video here from Alex Cobb, who is a pretty big voice when it comes to the XRP community. Young but intelligent type of person when it comes to, again, an outspoken voice for the XRP community. He has this video here called Calling Out Forbes on Spreading FUD on XRP. Most certainly give this a view here. Check it out, because I think he does a very good, quick explanation when it comes to telling everyone why this right here is something that should just absolutely be looked at as FUD, and that is it. And also something else as well. Anytime you see any type of news or articles coming out regarding what we consider FUD, which is the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in cryptocurrency or blockchain or the distributed ledger technology, you have to understand that there is an agenda and a motive for that on any type of real basis, whether they want to try to, push a narrative for a particular situation, or they just simply want to try to control what's going to happen with the market. The idea is that there is an agenda behind all those articles there that come out there, so you have to treat it with a grain of salt. And as well, most cases when you start seeing a lot of FUD ramping up just as heavily as this right here, there might quite possibly be a breakout when it comes to a bull run, and that's actually a good thing. We see that quite often. History has a tendency to repeat itself when it comes to that kind of situation. So please, again, take all this information with a grain of salt. Do your own research. That's why I'm encouraging you all to take a look at this video by Alex Cobb, again, Calling Out Forbes on Spreading FUD on XRP. A very good video. It's very quick. If you have about 7.5 minutes to watch this, definitely take the time to do so. And if you are someone who is new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm definitely trying to get this community growing as well. And if you're looking to secure your cryptocurrencies, please look into getting yourself into a Ledger wallet. And of course, if you are just simply looking to dabble with cryptocurrencies, definitely take a look at the Uphold wallet as well. Outside of that, guys, thank you again for watching and have a good day. Bye-bye.